I remember the day Harriet, at 82, found herself in the hospital again, her third visit in 6 months. Each time, it started the same way, a mild cold that quickly spiraled into a severe respiratory infection. She couldn't understand why she kept getting so sick. After all, she ate well, stayed active, and thought she was doing everything right to keep her immune system strong. Yet there she was, her oxygen tube in place, wondering how things had gotten so out of control. It wasn't until a concerned physician looked through her records and noticed her chronically low vitamin D levels that Harriet realized she'd been neglecting something essential. Most importantly, she discovered she wasn't alone. Thousands of seniors over 70 are in the same boat, ignoring this quiet but critical cornerstone of overall health. For older adults, there's a unique vulnerability when it comes to immunity. The body's defense system can weaken with age, leaving us open to infections that younger people might fight off easily. Some seniors dismiss this danger, assuming that the standard multivitamin they've been taking for years is enough. But doctors are now sounding the alarm. Ignoring vitamin D after 70 can be a serious mistake that compromises our natural defenses. The consequences can be much more than the inconvenience of a cold. Hospitalizations, long recovery times, and increased frailty can rob you of the freedom and vitality that make life worth living. The risk is that you'll lose the simple joy of spending time with grandchildren, sharing laughter with friends, and moving about your day without fear of getting sick. If you're concerned about staying resilient, the next few minutes could make all the difference. You're about to discover 6 crucial points that unveil why vitamin D is so vital for immunity after 70 and how you can use this knowledge to protect yourself. We're going to explore common myths, some surprising facts, and practical steps you can start taking right away. By the end, you'll have a clear roadmap to fortify your immune system, potentially sidestep life-disrupting illnesses, and reclaim a sense of control over your health. And please make sure you stay until the last point, because there's a rarely discussed truth about vitamin D that might just rewrite everything you've been told about daily supplements and how your body actually uses them. Doctors and specialists have quietly acknowledged for years that vitamin D is crucial, but only recently are more of them coming forward to warn seniors explicitly. Low levels of this nutrient are linked to weakened bones, poor muscle strength, and critically, a diminished ability to fight off infections. I've seen this firsthand in my work with older adults who went from constant worry about catching every bug to confidently planning vacations once they got their levels stabilized. These stories aren't just one-off anecdotes. They reflect a growing body of research and real-world results. What I'm about to share isn't just opinion, it's a compilation of experiences from doctors, senior care professionals, and resilient older adults who've managed to stay healthier into their 80s and beyond. Before we dive in, I invite you to stay connected. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming insights. And I'd love to hear your feedback along the way. If you find these points hit home for you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 so I can learn what's most helpful for you. Your involvement helps shape future content, ensuring we tackle the issues that matter most to older adults seeking a better, healthier life. Now let's begin exploring these 6 points that could be pivotal in protecting your immunity and overall well-being. The first point to consider is that your body's demand for vitamin D changes dramatically as you age. It's easy to assume that what worked for you in your 50s or 60s will continue to suffice. But the truth is that seniors typically produce far less vitamin D from sun exposure than younger people. Many older adults believe that a quick stroll in the sun or a daily dose of a generic multivitamin automatically covers their needs. The reality is that once you cross 70, your skin's ability to synthesize vitamin D can drop by as much as 50%. That's a staggering figure if you think about it. It means half the capacity to produce what you need, even if you're outside daily. One common misconception is that as long as you see some sunlight, you've got your vitamin D under control. But consider Donald, a 75-year-old retiree who prided himself on taking a short walk every morning. He assumed that being outdoors for 15 minutes a day was plenty. Over time, though, he started noticing constant fatigue and a nagging ache in his bones. A routine blood test revealed that his vitamin D levels were perilously low. The surprising insight here is that your body may need more intense or targeted sun exposure than you realize, especially in later life. And even that might not be enough in certain climates or seasons. One practical step to tackle this challenge is to schedule your outdoor time strategically. Aim for midday exposure when the sun's rays are at their peak, but don't overdo it. About 10 to 20 minutes of direct sunlight on at least your arms and legs can help, though in many cases, a supplement remains vital because aging skin simply isn't as efficient. The emotional benefit of prioritizing vitamin D at this stage of life can be tremendous. You can regain the energy you thought you'd lost, feel more secure in your ability to fight off illness, and even rediscover the joy of waking up without that lingering sense of fatigue. Think of it like ensuring your personal shield is fully charged before you step into a world filled with germs. When you have that solid foundation, everyday tasks become less daunting and more enjoyable. The second point highlights the hidden link between vitamin D deficiency and recurring infections. People often assume a weak immune system is just part of getting old, but that's not entirely true. The bold statement here is that many of those coughs, colds, and other seasonal bugs might not just be random bad luck. They can be a sign your vitamin D levels are insufficient. This might challenge the conventional wisdom that a high dose of vitamin C is the go-to remedy for immune support. Of course, vitamin C plays its part, but it's vitamin D that often orchestrates how well your immune cells function overall. Take Jeanette, a 79-year-old widow who used to get pneumonia nearly every winter. After her husband passed, she felt more vulnerable than ever. She was lonely, less active, and her diet wasn't great. Her doctor eventually measured her vitamin D and was shocked at how low it was. The turnaround was remarkable once she started proper supplementation and made a few dietary tweaks. Not only did she skip her usual winter pneumonia, she also felt a renewed sense of hope. The counterintuitive truth is that while many seniors pile on extra vitamin C, zinc, or herbal remedies, they might be missing the foundational nutrient that enables all these other elements to work more effectively. So what can you do, starting right now? First, consider asking your healthcare provider for a simple blood test to check your vitamin D levels. It's a small step that can yield huge insights. Second, if you discover you're low, don't be afraid to explore higher dose supplements, always guided by medical advice. The emotional payoff is peace of mind and the chance to enjoy your golden years without the constant worry of being knocked down by every virus that comes around. You'll be able to plan your activities confidently, knowing you have a better safety net. If you're still here and finding this information valuable, please comment the number 2 below. That lets me know you're actively following along and getting something useful out of this discussion. And if you haven't done so yet, I recommend subscribing and clicking the bell icon because there's more life-changing content ahead. Moving on, the third point delves into a frequently overlooked aspect of vitamin D. It's not just for your bones and immunity. It can dramatically affect your mood and mental resilience, which in turn further supports your body's defenses. Many seniors think depression or persistent low mood is simply a side effect of aging, but that can be a misconception. The surprising fact is that vitamin D receptors are located in key areas of the brain that govern mood regulation. When these receptors aren't getting the vitamin D they need, you can experience dips in mood or motivation that make it harder to stay active, eat well, and keep up with other healthy habits. This becomes a vicious cycle. Low mood leads to less self-care, which leads to a weakened immune system, which then leads to further illness and stress. For an example, consider 70-year-old Marcus. He was a retired school principal, known for his friendly demeanor and quick wit. After retiring, he looked forward to traveling, but within a few years, he became increasingly withdrawn. He lacked energy, lost interest in his old hobbies, and hardly went out in the sun. During a routine exam, his doctor recommended testing his vitamin D levels, which turned out to be lower than most people half his age. After a period of consistent supplementation and adjusted nutrition, Marcus's mental clarity and positivity returned. The link was unmistakable. By boosting vitamin D, he also boosted his mood, which made it easier to stick to a balanced lifestyle that further fortified his immune health. Here's a practical tip. Pay attention to how you feel during different times of the year. Many seniors experience seasonal dips in mood, often in the darker, colder months. This can be an indicator that your body isn't getting enough vitamin D from sunlight. If you notice this pattern, speak with a healthcare professional about adjusting your supplementation. The emotional benefit? Regaining that sense of optimism and engagement with life. When you're in a better mood, your immune system follows suit, making it less likely that minor illnesses will turn into major setbacks. The fourth point is a crucial one. Not all vitamin D supplements are created equal, and the dosage matters more than you might think. People often grab the first supplement bottle they see, trusting that it will automatically fix the issue. The misconception is that any amount is good, so the specific dosage or formulation doesn't really matter. In reality, older adults often require higher levels of vitamin D supplementation than standard one-size-fits-all vitamins provide. Some may need a daily dose of 1,000 to 2,000 IU, or even more under medical guidance, and certain formulations combine vitamin D with vitamin K2 to optimize absorption and direct calcium to the right places. Meet Sam, an 80-year-old who spent a year taking a cheap over-the-counter vitamin D pill at the lowest possible dose. He was diligent, never missed a day. Yet when he had his levels checked, they had barely budged. A nutritionist suggested switching to a better quality supplement and increasing the dosage. Within a few months, Sam's blood tests showed dramatic improvement. The surprising insight is that cheap, low-dose supplements might not effectively raise your levels, especially if you're dealing with absorption issues or if your initial deficiency is severe. Here's a practical approach. Look for vitamin D3, cholecalciferol, instead of D2, ergocalciferol, as many experts find D3 to be more bioavailable. Consider pairing it with meals that have some healthy fat, like avocado or olive oil, to aid absorption. And don't hesitate to discuss with a healthcare provider the possibility of a slightly higher daily intake, at least until your levels reach an optimal range. The emotional reward of getting this right is significant. You'll feel the tangible boost in your overall health, possibly seeing fewer illnesses, more energy, and a renewed sense of purpose, all from correcting something that was quietly holding you back. If you're still with me and soaking up these insights, please comment the number 4 below. Each comment and engagement helps me understand how these points resonate with you. Also, feel free to share any personal experiences you've had with vitamin D, as your stories can inspire others in this community. Next, let's look at the 5th point, which challenges the widely held belief that it's enough to simply eat a healthy diet to get your vitamin D. The shocking truth is that food sources alone rarely provide adequate levels of this nutrient for seniors, especially if you have dietary restrictions or a smaller appetite than you did in younger years. Many people believe that eating fish, eggs, and fortified milk is enough, but the amount of vitamin D in these foods can be too minimal to cover what you truly need. Consider Eleanor, 77, who believed her daily serving of milk was plenty. She prided herself on her balanced diet, fruits, vegetables, lean proteins. Yet she often felt run down, and a simple blood test revealed her vitamin D was still borderline low. The missing piece was that while her diet was generally balanced, it simply couldn't deliver the higher levels she needed as an older adult with reduced ability to synthesize vitamin D from sunlight. The surprising reality is that unless you're consuming foods that are extremely high in vitamin D, fatty fish like salmon or mackerel multiple times a week, and you're getting daily sun exposure, you're likely not hitting the target. One practical step: if your doctor or nutritionist says your levels are suboptimal, do not rely solely on diet to fill the gap. You may need a dedicated supplement regimen. That's not to say food doesn't matter. It absolutely does, but it's more of a supporting role. The emotional benefit? You free yourself from the frustration of thinking, I eat well, so why am I still low on vitamin D? By understanding that diet alone might not cut it, you can take focused action and finally lift that fog of fatigue or vulnerability that's been weighing you down. Confidence in your health decisions is incredibly uplifting. You'll no longer be stuck guessing whether you're doing enough for your body. Now we come to the 6th point, which might be the most critical of all. Ignoring vitamin D can quietly accelerate the aging process by weakening both your immunity and your overall resilience. People often think that the aging process is simply about genetics or the luck of the draw, But vitamin D deficiency can make the normal hurdles of aging much harder than they need to be. Imagine living with muscles that feel weaker, bones more prone to fractures, and an immune system that struggles to ward off even minor infections. That's not just aging, it's aging with a significant preventable disadvantage. To illustrate, let's talk about Paul, a lively 72-year-old who loved playing tennis with his grandkids. Over a year, he noticed his stamina wasn't what it used to be, and he began catching colds more frequently. Initially, he chalked it up to just getting older. However, during a checkup, he learned his vitamin D levels were severely deficient. Within 6 months of addressing that deficiency, through sunlight, supplements, and a few dietary adjustments, Paul was not only playing tennis again, he was getting sick far less often. The unexpected twist was realizing that so many aging problems he'd accepted were actually magnified by low vitamin D. If you relate to feeling more run down than you'd like, or if you've noticed an increase in minor illnesses that take forever to get rid of, take this as a wake-up call. By restoring healthy vitamin D levels, you can slow down some of the issues that cause accelerated aging, like chronic inflammation and reduced muscle function. Think of it as removing an invisible weight that's been dragging you down. You'll be able to enjoy more years of mobility, independence, and social engagement without constantly worrying about the next infection that might land you in bed for weeks. If you've stayed with me through all 6 points, comment the number 6 below. Your support and engagement mean a lot, and they signal that this information is reaching those who need it most. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It helps ensure you won't miss future insights that could further protect and enhance your well-being. At this moment, take a breath and consider what a difference these 6 points could make in your life. Together, they paint a picture of how vitamin D, far from being a small footnote in your diet, can play a defining role in your immunity, mood, and overall quality of life. Low levels aren't just about risking an extra cold or two. They can lead to prolonged illnesses, chronic fatigue, and a sense of fragility that robs you of the joy in everyday moments. On the flip side, getting your vitamin D to optimal levels can mean stepping into a more energetic, resilient version of yourself. Someone who's better equipped to face the challenges of aging without giving up the activities and connections that make life meaningful. Think about waking up each morning feeling clearer and stronger, confident that you have that extra layer of protection. Picture yourself breezing through tasks that once left you exhausted, or meeting friends and family without fretting over the latest flu going around. Maybe you'll plan that trip you've been putting off, or finally take up a new hobby with less worry that your body can't keep up. This is about more than just avoiding sickness. It's about living fully in the years you've worked so hard to reach. One of the best ways to personalize this journey is to take a moment and ask yourself, which one of these 6 points resonated with you the most? Was it the shift in how your body produces vitamin D, the realization that mood and immunity are linked, or maybe the eye-opener that diet alone might not be enough? Reflect on your own life and habits. It's in those reflections that real change takes root. You could start by getting your vitamin D tested this week or adjusting the timing of your daily walk in the sun. Even a small step forward can create momentum. If you feel compelled to act, I encourage you to leave a comment below, sharing the one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Each personal story not only keeps you accountable, it also inspires others who might be facing the same struggles. And if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about, a friend, a neighbor, or a family member who might also benefit. Your engagement is what keeps this community growing, allowing us to continue creating content that empowers you to live healthier and happier well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Remember, knowledge is powerful, but only if you act on it. The steps to take are refreshingly simple. Get informed about your vitamin D status, explore the best supplement or sunlight regimen for your lifestyle, and remain consistent. Treat this as an ongoing priority, not a one-time fix. In doing so, you reclaim some of the control aging can sometimes seem to steal away, and you equip yourself to spend these years doing more of what you love with fewer setbacks. I believe in your capacity to make these changes, no matter your current age or health status. We've seen people in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s turn their health around, by addressing something as overlooked as vitamin D deficiency. This is your chance to ensure that your later years aren't defined by frailty or avoidable illnesses, but by a vibrant engagement with life. Thank you for sharing your time with me today, and I look forward to hearing about your progress and welcoming you into the next conversation. Your best days can still be ahead, and with each small step, you're moving closer to a stronger, healthier, and more confident you.